What a joy that you have found us for this podcast. How exciting it is to think that this spiritual message is going out to people around this planet. Whether your life is working at a peak level or whether it can use some enhancement, have I got the message for you today. So get a piece of paper, get ready to take notes, call a friend, have them watch this podcast also. Then you too can have something to talk about and take it to a deeper level. So enjoy. Here we go.
Speaking of expressing God through one's talent, we have our wonderful, amazing, exquisite Reverend Tammy to talk with us today. As you know, our Dr. Christian has been gone for the last 9 weeks, and it's really fitting that Reverend Tammy would be our last speaker before Dr. Christian comes back, because she has so ably and so skillfully and with such heart led this spiritual community for the last 9 weeks, and I just think we ought to give her a hand. As you all know, she's the associate minister here at Seaside. She's the executive director here at Seaside, and she's a very brave woman because she oversees all the cash flow and the budgets. And especially nowadays, I just bless her for doing that. She manages all the staff. And of course, you can see her loving, loving, open heart on Wednesday nights when she leads the Wednesday night service, although she's not going to be doing that on Thanksgiving Eve, because I hope you're coming to the interfaith service. And she's been here at Seaside for over 17 years. And that loving heart also shows as a mother of 2 children, Chris and Vanessa, and her lovely, lovely grandson, Landon, who is often up on this platform. So I am proud and honored to introduce to you our own Reverend Tammy Miller.
Thank you. Thank you, Donna. It is my joy to be here. It's my joy to be with all of you. I love you all, and I wouldn't do anything other than this. It is truly the grace of God. I like to say that ministry is what I do, but my connection with God is who I am. And this gives me the opportunity to just be connected and to be with all of you. So welcome. Thank you for that wonderful music. You're so gifted. Thank you. One of my favorite songs. Thank you. So today, we actually are on a program right now, Everyone Counts, and we're taking the month of November. November traditionally is the month of gratitude and appreciation. So we're taking this month to really be grateful for everyone in our lives and every activity and all that we do. Today I'm talking about the power of one. I'm talking about the power of one thought, one activity, one action, one in passion, one connected, one in joy. When you start to think about the power of one, that's all there is just one. It all starts out with one. Sometimes we see greatness and we think of that as an individual as if they have just arrived, but when anybody that's been an athlete or anybody that's created anything knows that it's been thousands and thousands and thousands of practice and attempts to be able to master whatever skill it is that we are living and that we are being. It's the power of one. And so today I want to bring you back to the realization and to that truth of the one, how powerful you are as that one, and how powerful everything that you do is. Starting with the power of one thought. In fact, everything that you are and all that you have ever created has come from an initial thought, an idea. In fact, your whole beingness, as we saw in our beautiful blessing this morning, that God that recreated itself as a thought and placed it here as this beautiful little child and named it, in this case, Rory. But God also recreated itself and named it you. And you were placed here at this time so that you can go forth and show your glory and to share your gifts. I say for people that a firm belief of mine is that nobody goes before their time. That literally when our time is complete and we are these eternal beings, that we move on to a new and greater expression. So if all of us are sitting here at this time, that means there's something powerful for you to share. There's something powerful, a gift for you to give, and that your time here is incomplete. And so this talk and this message is about making this time and really expressing to your absolute fullest, starting with the power of a thought. Many of us are going through difficult times right now. It's a difficult economic time. Many people are having health challenges. They're having challenges with their work. They're having challenges right here and right now. We're of a movement that says we don't deny that there's challenges or that there's things that are going on. But what we recognize and know is that they don't have power over us. That there's one power and one presence, and that power and presence is God. And one connected with Source has the power to unfold, to move mountains, if you will, to create anything new. And so we have to start from the power of one, the power at the very beginning, the power of thought. I'm working right now with a book called Spiritual Economics, which I think is at the top of my list as one of the most powerful books that there is. It talks about economics, but it really isn't just about that. And what he goes forth to say is that no matter what's happening in the financial world, or you can relate it to your health or whatever it is, that we always have the power of choice. And all things are created through those thoughts. That we literally shift the consciousness. We really can shift all of our outcomes based on the thoughts that we have. And so our job, no matter how difficult it is, no matter what we're going through, our job is to return our focus and our attention to the truth of our being. And let from there something new birth itself and reveal itself through and as us. No matter what. The phrase that comes to me, it actually is an agape song that says, I am more than this. No matter what you're going through, no matter what's happening in your life, no matter what your outside demonstration is, I am more than this. Because I am connected to that source. I am in that power and presence, that love that we call God. And in that, all things are possible and can shift like this. It's powerful. The power of one thought. The power of one committed to joy. Committed to live a life not in pain, not in stress, not in challenge, but the power to commit a life in joy. Feeling good. My favorite saying, feeling good is feeling God. No matter what, whatever's happening in our life, when we feel that challenge, we feel that strife, we have a commitment and a power to move to that place to feel good, to feel joy, because we know that that's where connection is and that's where all things are created. When you think about it, two of our major religions in this world are created with that one commitment. Commitment to feel good, to feel joy. Buddhism and Taoism. Buddhism has the Four Noble Truths, which the first truth is that life has suffering. Life has pain. Life has challenges. So it's not about fighting or pushing against that, but the fact that life does have its difficult times. But the second law is that we don't have to have those difficult times, or we can actually shift it. The difficult times come because of our attachment, trying to hold on to what is or what's happening right now, or trying to control or manipulate an outcome, or trying to fix or try to solve or use our limited thinking to make something look the way that we want it to be. That's where all of the suffering comes from. Byron Katie, in her book Loving What Is, says it's our attachment, or suffering comes from resisting what is. And so the Buddhists go forth to say that suffering exists, that it's because we have attachment, but there's something that we can do about it. We can shift it. And the fourth noble truth is that by following the Eightfold Path. And the Eightfold Path is the path of right. It's 8 steps of right. It's basically divided into 3 areas. It's in wisdom, it's in ethics, and it's in our thinking. So, in wisdom, it is the right, let me read them for you just to make sure that I get them correct. It's right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right connection. So if we can stay connected, if we can speak our words in truth, if we can be in action, if we can step and stay in that place of right and perfect action, then we shall avoid the challenges and the pitfalls, or we can pivot from them back into that place of feeling good. That is what Buddhism is all about, feeling good and feeling God through right action. Taoism is also another religion, one of our major religions, that's all about that. It's about feeling good. But Taoism is about releasing. Taoism is about surrender and trust. It's about that there is a flow of God, which we would use in our words. There's a flow of God. And as we release, as we let go, as we get in the flow, as we give up the need to control and to manipulate, as we can watch what is and be in the flow of what is, life works. Abraham says it's kind of like putting a canoe in the water. Instead of turning around and trying to paddle upstream, you just let go of the paddles. The canoe will naturally turn around and take you down the stream in perfect right action. We just finished a series on Wednesday night, our Wednesday night series of Living in the Tao, which we are discussing, and I'm actually taking this as an 81-week process, utilizing the book of Wayne Dyer, which is Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. He takes the verses one at a time, and then he does an analysis of them and an interpretation of them. And Byron Katie's book, 1,000 Names for Joy, bringing that in, also using the 81 verses, and bringing this into our everyday life. And I'll tell you, for me, it has been literally, by just simply reading these, the instant that you just start with these words in the Tao Te Ching, it's like you get to sit back and relax in one big, soft, easy chair. Because it's just a relief. It's just, all is well. All is truly well. The power of one committed to joy, committed to being connected to Source. The power of one word that is spoken, or one action that is taken at the perfect time, can completely shift the direction of a life. We've all experienced that. Many of us all have teachers, people in our lives. All of us can probably think of one teacher or somebody that was really special in your life that just patted you on the back, let you know how good you were, let you know how wonderful you were and how good you were at the different tasks that you did, and it shifted your world because you stepped into your power. Somebody recognized it, you saw it, and stepped into it. All of us have had that experience. We are blessed with our Reverend Fran. Reverend Fran is a teacher at the Oceanside School District, which she's been doing for, I think she said, over 10 years. And that is her job there. So she gets to take this ministry in a much different way, but hers is conflict resolution. She has over 200 children, and she has them each for an hour, different periods of the day, and her job is to tell them how powerful they are, how wonderful they are, how powerful the power of love is, and how they can stand in their own power, in their own grace, and kindness and communication, and make a difference in their world, in the world of those that they interact with. Power of one word or one action to shift somebody's life. I'm grateful for all of those teachers that are out there. Here's one that you know. The power of one affirmation. Muhammad Ali. What was his affirmation? I am the greatest. I am the greatest. He took that one affirmation and repeated it and lived it and told everybody about it and lived this thing, literally embodied that one affirmation, and became the greatest, one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time. One affirmation, I am the greatest. 4 words. Power of words. The powers of a commitment there. The power of that. Another one. The power of one connected. Look at Gandhi. Gandhi was a man that was connected to Source. And he refused. I don't care what they said about him. I don't care what they tried to do to him because of his race or whatever his beliefs was. He refused to step down or feel less than anyone around. He says, it doesn't matter what you do to me. You can kill me. You can do whatever you do to me. But I know the divinity of my being. I know my worth. I know who I am and how precious that is. And you can never get into my mind, and you can never take that away from me. Through standing in that one connection of his truth, period, he literally changed a nation. He brought down one of the strongest empires at that time there was, the British Empire. One belief, one connected to God. Same thing is true with Jesus. Jesus walked this earth just knowing that the Father and I are one. This power and presence is moving through and as me. God is, I am, period. And by claiming that and knowing that one comment, that one truth, he changed the world. Look at, we have Christianity and we have so many people living in that right here and now. The power of one talent, one gift that we've been given, expressed fully. How many of you have seen the Michael Jackson movie? I highly recommend that you see that movie. That movie is super powerful. We have this idea of Michael Jackson, and here's a gentleman that lived his life when he was not singing and doing this, and a lot of people have judgment on it, what he did do and what he didn't do. But if you were to go see that movie, or those of you that saw it, you could see that when this man was in his gift, his talent, the king of pop, when he was singing, when he was on stage, it's the most incredible demonstration of one connected to source that you've ever seen. First of all, when you think about the sets of the movie is about, it's called This Is It. It was about creating this concert series that he was just getting ready to go do. He had over 50 sold out concerts in Europe. It was about 8 days away from him to go to Europe and do his dress rehearsals and start this concert series. So when you do one of those massive things, and this was a huge production, so he had hundreds and hundreds of people that were working on this. And the one thing that I walked away with is that on that set and on that stage, everyone was in a place of high love. Everyone was in a place of high respect. In fact, everyone was so excited. He had lots of talents, musicians, and he had singers, and he had dancers and this. Everybody was operating at their peak performance. One man immersed in love, in his talent, in his gift, but giving with such an open heart and being what he was created here to be, raised up, uplifted hundreds of people, let alone what he would have done for the concert. But now that it's out on film and everybody gets to see it, everyone I've spoken to that's seen it has been inspired and uplifted by that movie. One man claiming his talent and sharing it generously with the world. How powerful. I also think you can use the power of one in not so good ways. Just like that man that put a bomb in his shoe and got on the airplane. Now all of us have to take our shoes off every time we go through the airport. And we've been having to do that for years and years. One man, one bomb. And we're having to take our shoes off and walk barefooted and all of that. The power of one action, one activity. But what it requires for us is it requires for us to make a commitment. I want to share with you some words on commitment from John von Goethe. It says, commitment. Without it, nothing happens. With it, everything is possible. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back. The moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur that never otherwise would have happened. A whole stream of events, raising in one's favor all manner, material assistance, which no man could have dreamt would have come his way. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it now. Commit. Commitment has boldness, genius, power, and magic in it. We need to commit. to be the very, very best that we can be. We need to commit, and we need to recognize the gifts and talents that we were placed here to express. We need to know that something powerful is wanting to express through and as us. And as we commit to the power of our thoughts and how transformative they are, and we commit to the power of our attitude, we commit to the power of our passion, the power of our commitment, the power of our connection to Source, what a huge difference that we can make. David Hawkins, in his book Power versus Force, speaks about that. He talks about the variance, and we've all heard this before. But a ship, for instance, going from here to Hawaii, if it was just slightly 1 degree off, it ends up thousands of miles away from its target. But what does that mean for us? If we shift ourselves just slightly, if we catch ourselves when we're feeling in that down space or we're having those negative thoughts, if we just shift our energy, if we shift our attitude, if we shift who we're being just slightly, we will be way off in a whole different direction from the direction that we are going. One thought, one attitude, one commitment is so powerful. And it's within each and every one of us. Our genius is there. David Hawkins goes forth and says that the genius is waiting, latent in every single one of us, waiting for the recognition of it in its perfect timing. What is it that you have? What were you placed here to do? What do you do really good? I know one thing that we all do. We look at the results of big people and these big accomplishments, but we need to remember that it's the little things all adding up. And the one thing that we all do, and we all do really well, is love. Marianne Williamson says it this way. She says in her famous talk, our famous writing, she says, our deepest fear is we are more powerful beyond, that we are powerful beyond measure. You have been sent here to channel love into the world. If you were waiting for a more important job, there isn't one. That's what we're here for. Michael Jackson ended his movie I actually saw it again last night, that says, love lives forever. We're here to love. The power of love is the greatest power that there is. And it's something that we can all do right here and right now. In fact, it's something that we can commit to right here and right now, first starting with ourselves. Stop beating ourselves up. Stop criticizing ourselves. Stop using words that aren't loving about ourselves. And start by loving ourselves right here and right now. When we look at the power of a positive thought over a negative thought, there's numbers for it, and I can't even understand them. There's such a variance. But just that shift in our words and how we speak of ourselves, because we have to recognize it in ourselves first, and then it allows us to recognize it in others. In David Hawkins' books, he says that one that is vibrating at love, one that is willing to look past, not judgmentally, look past all the activities people are seeing, not even to see it, but to see the God presence within individuals and see that and to love them for the truth of their being, not their actions or activities. One that stands in love, that sees love everywhere present, is more powerful than 90,000 people that are not in a great space right now. It's an uplifter. It lifts them up into a greater and bigger space. One connected in love. 90,000. That means if we were to take this congregation here at Seaside, us, committed to that power and presence of love, with about 500 people that attend here at Seaside, we're uplifting in thought almost 500,000 people. a half a billion people. 500 million. We're powerful. Sometimes we forget, don't we? In our everyday life and all the little things that we're doing. We're forgetting the difference that we really make just by being, just by expressing. It's called the M factor. I shared on Wednesday night about the 100th monkey, which most of you may know, but just a quick review on that. They found out these monkeys on the islands really love sweet potatoes. So they dropped these sweet potatoes on, they'd dump them out from airplanes, and they'd land on the beach and have sand all over them. Well, they loved the sweet potatoes, but they didn't like the sand. And finally, one of the little chimps realized that if he washed it in the water, the sand was off, and then he got the joy of the sweet potato. And so he started sharing that with the other monkeys that were there, until it finally kind of caught on the island. And after it had met a critical mass, a certain amount, and everybody was doing that, what they discovered was that monkeys on other islands that had no connection with this island at all started doing the same thing. And so we realize that every thought that you have, every action that you have of love, or every action of compassion, or every action of peace is one of those monkeys, and that all of us, I didn't mean to call you a monkey, but all of those adding up together makes it past this critical mass and makes a difference in the world. So we must play our part. We must be the very best we can be. We must stay in that consciousness, that allness, that connection to God. We must know the beauty and the benefit of everyone. It's powerful. I want to close with just a quick reading on the power of one. I invite you to just take these words within. One person has the power to change the world. All it takes is a faith strong enough to clearly see the possibility of a better place. This better place is the destiny of the human race. We will always improve and always grow as a group. It seems, though, that we need people that can envision a better future for our lives. To be one of these peoples is to feel deep within that you are capable of being an example of change and betterment. When you choose to be one of these people, your energy and strength touches others around you and is then spread even further by those who have been touched. The power of one is not to be underestimated. The power of one always leads to the power of many. When one person has strength and conviction, which they express clearly and surely to others, they can and will change the world. Here's the key. You are that one. Remember this truth in all your actions and dealings. If we each take on this responsibility as we should, we will create heaven on earth. Find the beacon of light within yourself. That is who you are. That is the power and the greatness within. Recognize that this is your destiny. Be one who lives and shares this light with those around you. Be one who walks forward with inherent goodness and brings many with you. Decide, commit to be the one you are meant to be. The power of one is in all of us. Don't underestimate what you can become or who you are. Remember that our every action, our every word, our every thought, all that we are has a ripple effect. It absolutely moves out. It always ripples out more than we'll ever know. Let us stand in our connection to God. Feeling good is feeling God, and feel that blessing that we are, and to share it generously with our world. Together, we do make a difference. Grateful for you. Let us turn within. Taking a big breath and releasing it. Recognizing, feeling the activity of life, the life that is moving through and as each of us. That is God. God in expression. And already within that activity of life that moves through and as each and every one of us is some beautiful, unique talents and gifts that we were placed here to express. Never is it about the activity that we are doing. It is about the uplifting of mankind. Because from that privation of the Most High, all things are possible. We shift so that we no longer have to play in the ebbs and the flows, into the lacks. We live in well-being. And so I just bless each of us. So grateful that you are here remembering this truth. Go forth as the loving light of God and make a difference in our world. It's with love that I bless you all. And so it is. Amen.
Again, a lot of heart and soul and passion. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now. Hey, I trust you enjoyed that podcast. It was very exciting to be able to create that and to know that there are people like you all around the world that are observing and integrating these spiritual principles into their life. And so if you enjoyed it, what I'd like to do is encourage you to tell a friend or bring several friends together and watch another one of these podcasts, and then afterwards take some time to talk about the spiritual principles, to talk about the stories and what significance they have and relevance they have in your life. What then happens is it moves to a deeper and deeper level in your world. It becomes real and assists you to create the freedom in your life that your heart and soul so desire. So if you like this, I encourage you to watch it again, but also tune into our website here at seasidecenter.org. There, you can get some of my written material and take a look at it. You can read some of my spiritual prayers. You can even go to our online bookstore and order some of the books. And if you're so moved, what I greatly would appreciate is your financial support, which you could do online at seasidecenter.org. It is support like yours that assists us to be able to continue to do these kinds of gifts for humanity and send it out to the world. Because you know what? We are making a difference with this spiritual message. And because of support like yours, people are being touched in the farthest reaches of this planet, as well as our backyard, more than we could ever begin to realize. So I thank you from the fullness of my heart for making a difference.
So grateful that you are here remembering this truth. Go forth as the loving light of God and make a difference in our world. It's with love that I bless you all. And so it is. Amen.